Just halfway through an actually interesting conversation. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Large Lads, the largest show on the internet, with your host, Large Max, my co-host, Big Klong, and first-time guest, local strongman competitor, Sam Sheether.
What's up, brother?
How you doing?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I'm having a really good Sunday, to be honest.
Okay. I noticed you were up and doing stuff way earlier than usual.
Yeah, I went to sleep super early. I ate 1,000,000 calories last night after my deadlifts. I'm feeling powerful.
I walked out the bedroom door to let the dogs go pee, and I was like, just woke up, and Max was like literally standing right in the kitchen. He jump scared me a little bit.
We watched the Chainsaw Man movie last night.
Yep.
Give your ratings, fellas.
4 point. Well, we're going out of 5 stars.
Yeah.
I agree with Sam's rating from last night. I'm gonna go like above a 4.5, so like 4.5, 4.6 ish.
Okay.
Sam?
Brother man, I get 4.5, 4.6. She stole my rating.
I'll say a 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Who's going first with topics? If you guys don't have yours on hand, I can go.
I'll start this time.
Okay.
Being only good at one lift, lame, and it doesn't even count. I revoke the
Unless,
lift.
what if you're the best?
Different.
Okay, because
That's what being good, right? If you're the best in the world, still it's lamer than being the best in the world at multiple things, obviously.
yeah, but
Like,
Julius Maddox is pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, if you're an all-time total world record holder, you get a pass for max.
Yep.
If you're only good at one lift, doesn't even count. I take away your ability to be good at any lifts.
I think about that often, where I'm like, geez Louise, I wonder what I could be bench pressing right now if I wasn't busy training my legs seriously, right? Like, I'm always wary because I'm like, me and Max are just going to gradually get more and more elitist on this podcast. It's the inevitable.
We're revealing our real opinions.
Right.
What would be the coolest lift to be good at only one? Do you think?
See, I want to say deadlift, and then I see people who are only good at deadlift, and it's not very cool.
Yeah, I agree.
I
think probably squat.
All of them are. I guess bench. I think it might be bench because you just go around, and that's the one people ask about.
Squats feel weird because it's like, why not? You've got like
can squat,
you've got like 3/4 of the physicality for having a big deadlift. Like, why not start working on your deadlift at that point? Like,
at least on bench, you get the Instagram views. Going to be a cool LA fitness warrior.
That's true.
yeah, maybe like an Olympic squat.
I just couldn't say bench because that's the best.
So, guys, if we had to pick one,
But I think about that, right? Where I'm like, I see like guys who are like bench specialists, and everybody can do what they want with their training, right? Obviously, of course. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, that is so much easier to like be able to like, well, I train my legs once a week, and I just do like some leg extensions. Man, I would have a lot more energy for spamming bench press accessories, right? And like, I always am thinking, I'm like, man, I really do believe I would be up more like 300 kilo type bench press if I wasn't busy training my back and legs really heavy.
it's so funny because, like, obviously a little bit elitist, right?
Yeah,
But also it's in the
of course.
context of powerlifting, which the goal is the total.
The
right?
goal is the total,
So
yeah.
if you're only doing one lift, you're kind of doing a horrible job of the sport, right? There's a weird amount of people who can do exactly my numbers on one of the lifts, but not the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll see something like, whoa, this guy's pretty good. And if I go to their profile and their other two are dog shit, L. Oh, you're not strong at all. See a secret reveal, you suck ass.
I do think that like social media definitely drags people down that more because you start getting more like positive feedback for your lift online.
Well, being
And
just
then
a
you
good
start-
deadlift guy is a brand. Like, it's
Exactly. It's like your brand, or like you're a good bench guy. You start getting a lot of views on your bench presses especially if you're doing it in a commercial gym on pound plates, you're getting all these views, right? And then whether you consciously do it or not, you start dumping more training economy into the lift you're good at because you're getting like this positive feedback, and it fucks up your total, right? Where it's like, you should probably be almost allocating a little bit less to that lift because you're so naturally good at it, and putting a little bit of extra oomph into the ones that come harder to you if your goal is to have the most competitive total possible, right? But like,
yeah, it's very Instagram positive feedback loopy.
Yep.
But also in my mind, that makes it even worse. Is that whenever I see somebody, I'm like, you clearly have dumped all of your training economy into this one thing. So lame. This doesn't even count anymore. So,
yeah, it's funny. Like I struggle to amend my two opinions on this, right? Where like I have this belief that like your training is this thing that's like yours. It's like, this is a really important part of your life, or it should be, like whether you run or whatever it is, like being invested in some kind of physical training is like really good for your brain and your development, right?
Yep.
But it can be whatever you want. And I always think it's cool when guys have like uniquely customized goals. I have to temper that with my very strong belief of being well-rounded is harder, and thus it is cooler.
There's gonna be someone out there that like feels this way about like just being strong is lame.
Well, of course.
It's like, shit. There.
That
Like
was
some guys like, you can't run a mile. That's not cool to be
That's
strong.
the first
guys.
thing
I'm
that
like,
popped into my head, right? Was like, I say being well-rounded is cool, right? And like, we do conditioning work, we do our wind bike sprints, but at the same time, like in the grand scheme of things, we're not well-rounded at fucking all, right? We're very, very strength specialized. So it's like, that's not lost on me, but like some effort to be well-rounded within your discipline.
Yeah.
I just think it's harder, so it's cooler. I don't know. Like, it's the same thing with like some weightlifters be like, yeah, sure, you're really strong, but you're really slow and unathletic and unflexible. That's not that cool. There's a well-roundedness that the guys I look up to have, right? I think both of you guys will think this is interesting because we've all met them. I find there's two types of people that are delusional about abs. There are the guys that are insistent that unless you have like a chiseled 8-pack while unflexed, you don't have abs.
Okay.
Like the ab gatekeepers,
Yeah.
so to speak. We've met many of these people. Like,
I've met a lot of them that don't have abs, which is awesome.
true, that like they don't have abs, and so no one, like, you need to truly have unflexed, like bulging abdominals.
Yeah, I've seen multiple people that look like me be like, that doesn't really count yet. You look like me, buddy.
And then you have the other side, which is people that suck in their gut, get one fold up high, and be like, I have abs at 320.
Hey now.
I'm just saying there's two types. There's two types of ab delusional.
There's a dude's whole career on Instagram is just being a fat dude who does that, has a fold and goes abs at 330.
It's great
The
engagement
fact that
bait.
it works every single time, a bunch of people like, a bunch of 140-pound dudes be like, that actually doesn't even fucking count. That's not abs.
A little harmless and bait. That's not even rage bait. That's just good engagement bait. That's how I feel about every time I post my rows. I just title them cheat rows, and then I get a bunch of people like, "That's actually pretty strict. This is strict," because they do their rows more cheated. And I'm like, "Thank you for the engagement, boys."
Yeah, you know this is very similar to the body fat percentage dudes. Like, no matter what, if you say something, there's someone who's going to argue that it's either higher or lower.
Yeah, well, that's a fascinating. Like, I talked. You guys can cut me off if you guys think I've talked about this on Large Lives before, but people really, really don't know how to scale their estimating ability to people with a lot of muscle, right? And then
Where it's just like a guy with a shitload of muscle. You don't look like me. There's no way you could be 16%. Because I'm 16%. I look like shit or whatever.
like what 15, 16% comes out to for a guy with no muscle, what that looks like, versus what 15% on a really heavily muscled individual is. It's like how every time like Brian Shaw or Eddie Hall or any of these guys get a body fat percentage test, it comes out lower than people expect, right? And they're like, that can't be right. It's wrong. What's more likely, you fucking jackass? Your magic eye scanner is inaccurate, or the DEXA scan. DEXA isn't perfect, but it's a lot better than your eyeball test, you weird fuck.
It's also funny, the number of people who, because like TNF, he's done the whole thing of like, my eyes are better than almost every body fat percentage tester, right?
Well, yeah,
Or like
like-
good competitive bodybuilder has done that a lot.
I think that's a Greg Doucette thing too, as well. It's just like, yeah, if you're been in the industry forever and you're calibrating against like well-adjusted machines, sure, of course. But these random dudes in the comments thinking like the DEXA is wrong, the half Thor is actually like 30% body fat here. You don't know what 30% looks like for a guy with 300 pounds of lean mass. You have no frame of reference for that, man. Like, I remember in college, like, I got my number came back a little lower than like a lot of people expected. They're like, but you're not like diced, right? I'm like, yeah, it scales different. It looks, or it's not that it scales different. It looks different when you put that onto different frames.
Kirsten, I got a question for you.
Yeah, when I was gonna
go.
rampage for a second about the
Yeah, let's go.
the,
I was going to rampage for a second.
the in-body scanners.
Okay.
I had a client who they bought one, like a really nice one for their house, and she did the in-body scan and her husband did one, but they got one that tells you like your metabolic age, and she was like, this is one of the fittest, like she's gotta be like 40s-ish. You would never know how old she is. She's so active and really strong. And her husband is also like looks great for his age, but she's clearly in a lot better shape than he is. It told her that she was way metabolically older than he was, and I was like, I don't know if that's like that useful of a number for you to use. And she was like, well, it says it's 93% accurate. The whole machine just says that it's 93% accurate. I was like, for what?
I was gonna say, also, how would it know that?
For 93, is it 93% accurate of your weight, of your what it's saying your body fat percentage is, of what it's saying your metabolic? How does it? Also, what is your what does that mean? Do you know what that? Do any of us know what it's calibrating for metabolic age? I just like felt so bad. She was like, "Oh, damn, that sucks. I'm clearly way like I must be way unhealthy compared to my husband." And I was like,
It feels like the dudes who will like look for a 1RM calculator and will go through 12 of them until they find one that gives them the result that they
You
want.
find the most aggressive one, enter your 12 RM. You're like, I'm actually good
So
for
500
700.
for 5. I should be good for 650. No. Okay, backwater Reddit thread formula gave me this.
Hopefully nobody relevant is gonna watch this. Our gym got an in-body scanner that a bunch of people have been doing, and Jesus Christ, it's been fun. It's bioelectric impedance where it just like runs electricity through you and sees how much resistance you offer and estimates body fat based on that.
which like if
You're a
anybody
smart-
doesn't know, if you have water, doesn't it count like any water or food you have in your system as fat?
Also, the DEXA counts water as lean mass, right? Water is like lean mass, like it's non-fat mass, right? So it's not even that accurate. You're like 2 steps ahead, right? Like
what it actually does.
hydration status will alter your DEXA result, right? So even like if you do DEXA is one above hydrostatic weighing, right? This is way below. You're way, way, way ahead. It's not, oh, well, I ate different. It's going to throw it off. You could step on it twice in a row and get different numbers, right? Like people are rattled because it's like the bioelectric impedance thing says that my legs are, like, it'll tell you like that your legs are big or small or like your arms are underdeveloped. And I'm like, why the hell are you listening to that scale? Go look in what the fuck is going on? Like I'm having to.
You know the Scientology prongs that are like, you're too sad.
The dowsing rods.
Like you've got a sadness scale of 10.
On my life, I try to explain. I'm like, dude, that thing's not like people kind of listen to my opinion on lifting stuff. Maybe that thing's not the most accurate. And they look at me really skeptically. They're like, yeah, the scale said this. I'm like, fucking Jesus Christ.
It's got nodes on it, you fucking idiot.
So if it's 93% accurate, that's whatever that means. That could mean it's 7% off of body fat.
Sure, potentially, right? 'Cause does that mean like at plus or minus 7% body fat?
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's quite a bit. I have no idea how they came to that 93.
That feels like a very like early lifter thing is always like wanting weird context or numbers of being like, where am I? Am I intermediate or advanced? Like everyone
like
was
the
like,
yeah,
that
like
was such
what's-
a big question when I was like younger. Where I was like, what category am I in? And it's like,
Or like
you're
const-
a 4-plate bencher, or like you're a 3-plate bencher,
or like constantly referring to like charts that are like, for my weight, how good is this?
Yeah.
Like this one puts me at intermediate, but this one puts me at advanced, and it's like intermediate and advanced what are we even asking? Like, are we asking like what percentile this is in, or like are we going with like the old like intermediate advanced is determined by rate of progression? And my whole thing about rate of progression is like someone who's plateaued because they're fucking terrible at lifting isn't advanced. They're like, I'm progressing really slow, thus I'm advanced. And it's like, you have a shit diet,
Yeah,
you have
local
shit technique,
alcoholic
you have
gym bro is
you have shit
advanced.
effort, and you binge drink on the weekend. You're not advanced, even though you're not progressing at all.
I saw like a fast twitch muscle quiz where it was like, you think this is gonna be good data for like your physiology? Is what is essentially
It's like a WikiHow quiz.
Dude, no, it's like a BuzzFeed quiz of being like, do you think you fail easily or hard? It's like, dude, what are you like?
We should start writing these. We've been trying to brainstorm how to get rich. I think we start doing like WikiHow style quizzes to be like, what kind of muscle fiber type are you?
I feel like looking at that stuff too much is what gets people stuck in low weight classes. Because it's like, if I did this bench and if I like get 10 pounds stronger and I go down 5 or 10 pounds, I'm going to be really a lot better at benching technically. But it's like, that sucks.
I remember in math
Not
class.
suck. I mean, that long term, that's
Yeah,
not good for
you
progress,
suck.
is what I meant.
In math class, I'd sit there and extrapolate, like, okay, so if I add 10 pounds to my lift every single block for 6 years straight, I'll be here within 6 years.
The most Max has ever done, actually. That is the thing, is everybody's like, well, I've got some body fat. So my plan, everybody thinks every dude that's like intermediate comes up with their master plan, which is like, well, I'm just going to hold on to all of my muscle. and then I'm going to lose all of my body fat. And then I'll just keep my lifts the same. And then if I'm down 2 weight classes, I'll actually be pretty good.
Also, the whole joke is everyone thinks that they have way less fat to lose than they really do.
Yeah.
And then everybody who's cutting in powerlifting thinks that they're going to be able to make it down 2 weight classes without losing any strength.
An ounce of strength. You're not just going to have predictably the worst training block of your life because you tried to do a tough training block while in an aggressive caloric deficit, and then are shocked when either they get hurt or their numbers go down.
Christian,
or
I
they
gotta-
start squatting really high because they have numbers based on what they could squat from before.
Great point. That me and Kirsten have seen just a couple of people do the same thing, which is they got to like X level in a bigger weight class. They were like, okay, I'm kind of like not liking being heavy. I still like powerlifting. I'm just gonna keep going, but they start cutting down. Their leverages start changing. They get less of that approximation at the bottom, right? Less of that like contact with yourself to create stability. And what they do is they start like learning squat feels terrible now that I'm skinnier, right? So they start learning strategies to either like square up their toes or widen out their stance more than their mobility allows. They start learning strategies to bind them up high, and then they just gradually start squatting high to hold the numbers they had to depth when they were in the bigger weight class and had more of a rebound out of the bottom. We've seen like 5 people in like not very recently, 5 people have gone through this same process of like cutting weight, start cutting the squats high, like I don't think it's on purpose, but like these strategies make my squat feel good again, like it used to in the past. It's because you're fucking cutting it.
Well, and also, I don't know why nobody around them is telling them. Like, it's people who I can't, like, I'm not going to DM them and be like, aren't you concerned you're in meet prep and I haven't seen you do a single squat to depth of this entire meet prep? I don't know them well enough to, but like, why isn't their coach telling them? Like, why isn't your best friend who you lift with telling you that your squats are really high?
You know this. A lot of people respond really poorly, right? Like that's not on the people around them. That's on you for people knowing that you're going to be a weirdo and be in denial and be weirdly confrontational. And so they just don't think it's worth it, right? Like, a good friend would tell you. Well, a good friend wouldn't be ass hurt for someone telling them. Like, there's a reason people don't tell people. It's because I'll tell Max. I'm like, Max, that was high as fuck. Max never squats high, but I
Anymore.
I had to tell
I had a cool arc.
Yes, Max did have a high squat arc, and I'll tell him, like, Max, those are high. I'm like, Max, I don't think that was locked out, right? And Max will be like, fuck, really? And I'll look at it and be like, fuck.
But my question is always like, how sure are we?
Yeah, Max is always like, well, are you sure? And I'm like, yes, I'm sure. I wouldn't be saying it right now if I wasn't
I
really.
always try a little bit of pushback. I'm like, what conference level are you at? And you're like, no, I can. Go
watch the video
I'm looking at the eye test. Your hip crease is above your knee. And I'm like,
Max always comes back like an hour later. He's like, fuck, it is high. I was like, yes. I told you, I watched it.
I eventually figured it out.
The other one that I thought was funny, right? You guys have heard me kind of talk about this. You're not really plugged into this, but I thought maybe the large lads, like sometimes I feel like a good video is like a look into a community that you're not part of.
Yep.
There's this weird horde of dudes on the internet that like they're big steroid guys,
Okay.
right? And they find themselves to be very knowledgeable about it, right?
Yep.
Often they're very unknowledgeable about training. They're very like pharmacology first to solve all their problems.
Yep.
Like, I need to cut. What do I take? It's like, you don't just pull your calories down.
Yeah.
You don't just pull some carbs. And they're like, no. I need to like have like Clen or like some fancy shit,
Try
right?
to do squat PR. What's the leg drug?
Some of them are very like privy to these things and they just solve everything the same way, right? And a lot of them just kind of like mega blast their way to like a 700 deadlift, right?
Yep.
And they're like, dude, I figured it out. You just take more and you lift more. And thus everybody that lifts more than me is taking more. I'm a genius. I figured out how lifting works,
Yep.
right? They're the same guys that could not believe that natty guys could just train properly for a really long time and do some of these lifts. That it's not possible, right? And I saw one of these guys. Then they call everyone a liar. They're like, "There's no way. That's all you're." Like John Hack, a bunch of guys were like, "John Hack, you're fucking lying." I don't think he's lying. I think he's just a lot better at powerlifting than
Yep.
you, right? And then there's a little bit of truth to that though. I don't know if you guys have heard the whole phrase like claiming TRT is the new claiming natty.
Yeah.
Oh, these fucking cocksuckers are taking a bunch of gear and they're like, I'm on TRT. Go fuck yourself. God damn it.
I also the prevalence of dudes who like I saw a video be like, just somebody be like, I'm gonna get on TRT, right? And there was like I don't know, like 800 comments of people be like, yeah, good, brother.
Yeah, or like everybody else has to do it. Like people keep pressuring Freaky D to be like, you need to, dude, there's no reason
It's
not
a necessary medicine to live. It's like, what?
Dude, he's like doing fucking 50-inch box jumps and benching high fours in his 40s. If there's ever been someone that doesn't need TRT, it's that guy. But people like want to validate their own choices. So in the comments, people all the time are like, Dennis, there's no, objectively, man, there's no reason not to.
Everyone needs to be on TRT.
Everybody needs to
guys.
do that thing I'm doing. Well, I saw one of these fucking dudes in the wild the other day that made me laugh. Where Shane Hunt's pretty open about his stuff. Someone asked him like, "Dude, you're looking crazy big and strong right now. What's your cycle?" And Shane Hunt, standard Shane Hunt test, just test. This is what he wrote. That was the entire answer.
Yep.
Right? I believe it. He's talked about this many times. I suspect Shane Hunt has been a bit of like a test his best guy and just takes a bunch of testosterone. That's his approach, right? Seems to do him good. He's fucking huge and strong, right? And the guy wrote a paragraph in response to Shane's one-word answer about how these strength and size results could not be achieved using only... First of all, he didn't say how much.
Yeah, he's taking 3 grams of testosterone.
He's taking 5 grams. Right? Like, that's impossible to get those results. What?
If you're not taking Anadrol, like,
Second of all, you asked what he was currently doing, not what he did to get there. Third of all, I believe him.
hey, let me come out with a slightly spicy take, right?
Let's go. Let's hear it.
Coaches that are big drug guys,
Yes.
criminally stupid. Just the idea that you're writing such a bad program that like your methodology as a coach is giving your athletes a shitload of steroids, especially for like shitty powerlifting coaches. We've known some
Like that are like having like local level people that are going to be out of the sport in 2 years.
we should
You're
start
a
looking at your
criminal.
first blast, and it's like he doesn't know how to do a tricep extension. You need to go to jail. Like, we need to lock you up. What are you talking about? Like.
Some of these
It's like a
fellas,
therapist be like, here's heroin. It's just like, what?
Well, over the
That's
years-
the opposite of your job.
over the years, we've come across like a couple of these people that also like only coach women and are like, oh, you've been lifting for a year, you're now advanced. Let's fucking run a mega cycle. You're not going to get any sides, don't worry. Who are these comic book villains? Dude?
I thought it was so funny because they're like, I'm actually being responsible because I'm helping them do it. Like all these there's all these irresponsible people who do it by themselves. I'm a professional, and it's
Insane.
like you don't know how to coach. This is so fucking crazy that you're like, oh damn, you had a really
Yeah.
bad block. Let's try Anadrol. Try fucking leg extensions. What are we talking about?
Yeah, that's one of those things, right? Where it's like sometimes there's this like narrative online of like there's like some bodybuilder, and he's like, I'm gonna be honest, most of you guys probably should stay natty, right? That's a good piece of advice, I think.
Yep.
Most people, it just doesn't make sense to potentially do permanent harm, right?
Oh, there's some people
most
hate
people
when
are gonna-
people say that though.
well, because they feel like they're pulling the ladder up behind them.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like there's a difference between saying nobody should do it. I'm going to do it for you guys, right? Versus just acknowledging the statistical reality that it's probably not wise, right? Or like, man, I've had a bunch of mental health issues because I've been taking a bunch of steroids. I wouldn't really recommend it if you're not someone who's actively pursuing like being a Mr. Olympia guy. That's a reasonable point. I get why the messenger throws off the message there, and some people are like, "You're pulling the ladder. You just don't want me to get big by like big like you." It's like statistically, you're probably not gonna get big like him, right? More than likely, that's not how your PED journey is gonna go. You're gonna get medium big, like be just a local guy that does untested bodybuilding or does untested powerlifting, and then eventually your priority is gonna shift to hopefully maybe something good like your career, and that's that, right? Like that's statistically, that's how it's gonna shake out. But I always think that's interesting is like the optics of that versus the like objectively what's being said are kind of different.
Yeah. I like what a weird thing though. Lock those guys up.
Yeah, we've come across just like randomly like through where in the various places we've lived, we've come across people that are just like, wow, you are doing that thing that I thought nobody did, which is like actively pressuring people.
Well, it's funny because
That's
like,
crazy.
we hear about that of like, oh, all these juicers are like they're pushing the narrative, right? And it's like there are a handful of people on social media who actively are pushing drugs.
Yep.
That's bad too. Stop doing that, obviously.
Well, but some people argue just even existing as an untested athlete and sharing your results.
Yeah, but I think at a local level of just being a guy of like new client, they've been doing this for 6 months. What are your goals in this sport? If you want to get there, this is gonna be like where it's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah, that's like 8 layers past bad, like that level of bad, right? There's that lady who posted like her coach gave her like Tren as her first cycle. But like you see, like I see those arguments, but like I like Sam Sulek. I find him to be a very positive influence on a lot of guys. Like I just meet young guys in the gym, and like 50% chance if there's a Zoomer in the gym, they're just like, yeah, I love Sam Sulek and I love training hard. I'm like,
Yep.
that's awesome. That's really good, right? And some people are like, even though he doesn't talk about it, his existence as a guy on gear and showing the results that a guy on gear, not that you would get them, but a guy could get on gear, is inspiring young people to do it, right? And it's like, okay, I can see the point in there, right? But at the same time, like, what is it? Big on like freedom of individual choice. If you want to fuck yourself up, go for it.
Yep.
Is he really inspiring other people to? You can, when we were getting into it, most powerlifting was mostly untested, right? And it's like, I can see the effect of that is everybody from that era was like, yeah, I'm going to be one of those guys eventually. There wasn't even like a question. So I'm like, I can see the effects of that. But Jesus Christ, that's so many layers away from actively pressuring athletes into like, you want to get serious? You need to do this. What the fuck is wrong with you?
You know, it's a level of confidence that I always think is so sick. The dudes who, in their heart of hearts, believe that if they ran like 2 cycles, they would be as strong and big as Larry Wheels. Like, I know that sounds like a cartoonish example.
Oh, that's funny. The guys in the comments are like, anybody could do this with steroids.
Do it! Oh my God, this is a multi-million-dollar career.
Yeah, there's some interesting complexity there because there's that study that like, oh, these guys took gear, these guys trained, the
Yep.
guys on gear like gained more muscle, right? And they're like, yeah, you automatically anything works. Sometimes. I want you to go to your local Gold's. I want you guys to go to your local Gold's gym. I want you to go to the locker room, and I want you to talk to a bunch of guys in their like 50s that have the worst physique you've ever seen. And
Shit, dude, there's some dudes in their 30s.
I want you to walk up and I want you to ask, what's your cycle, to the most natty looking old guy you can find. And he's going to tell you that he's taking a gram of Tren.
Dude, there was a dude at the
They're-
YMCA
they're
who talked to
cra-
me, who was like a ponytailed dude, literally just looked like the most average dude in the world. And he talked to me about his, like, he was like, oh yeah, like, I'm running like my first like cycle for the first 6 months, which I was like, that's not one cycle, but whatever. Like,
Okay.
I was like 15.
He's getting after it?
He was like chatting about this, and I was like, it's crazy. If you told me, I would tell you that you rock climb. Like, I don't even like.
Those guys are fascinating, right? Because it's like, yeah, of course, right? There's also the guys who are on boatloads of gear who's like, all it does is help you recover.
Oh,
No, it makes you
what a
strong.
funny lie.
It makes you strong.
It
What the
actually
hell?
allows me to train fucking harder than you.
No, it makes you stronger.
It builds more muscle. Like,
Ask anyone what steroids do. They make you bigger and stronger.
that is
for sure.
The like extra, like, it's actually working harder because of them. Where it's like,
Yeah.
if you're running the same program, you'll get better results if you're taking steroids.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
It's also so funny because a lot of those guys who are like, actually, it's just, it enables me to work harder, right?
Yeah.
Are running the most mid-difficulty programs I've ever seen. Every time it's like some guy who has like a middling 1x frequency.
Well, it's blast to progress, guys. So it's like a-
medium volume. He's like, it just lets me fucking train harder. And it's like, you don't train that hard.
It is very
If
funny.
anything, it's letting you get away with not training that hard.
You
right?
and I have talked about, like, there's dudes where it's just like, I think if steroids didn't exist, you would suck ass.
Yeah,
like
that's-
there are guys that we look at that were like, any world, any sport, you would have succeeded. Like
100%.
just like based of like genetics, work ethic, like the way you're approaching the sport. Like you could be untested, you could be tested. You're gonna be one of the best guys in the world, no matter what.
Yep.
It is very funny that there's like a handful of dudes where I'm like, if untested powerlifting didn't exist, you would be dog ass. What a weird thing that is. Like you have like androgen to your way to being actually pretty good.
Well, you
Like-
can also, I've always felt like you can kind of spot those guys based on their shelf life.
Oh, it's like a
It's
flash
only
in the pan career. if you-
Exactly. It's like guys got really strong, really fast. His training doesn't look that smart, or his technique doesn't look that good.
Yeah.
Really strong, really fast. Is at the top for maybe 2 years, and then man, he just can't seem to make a comeback. The organ's tapped out, and he can't do what he was doing to get there. Right? Like I always think that longevity is at least it's either a sign that you have beastly organs.
Yep.
Or that you're doing some stuff well and you're being maybe a little bit more conservative than your peers, right? Like guys like John Hack, it's like just keeps chugging along. It's like, all right, there's something there, right? Like this guy would be good either way. I remember, forget who said it. Maybe it was like Sean Norier or something. Was like, if all of the IPF guys just went full untested powerlifting, none of the all the world records would fall except for John Hack. I don't think that's true anymore because I don't think necessarily Colton Engelbrecht would lose. I don't think that there's a 308 tested guy that's going to like usurp Kyle Curvey, right? But for the most part, I agree, right? Because they're guys, they're just doing it better, right? And I was like, that's a reasonable point.
If we believe Rondell is like it could like go untested, and then I feel like that's the person that would give Kyle Curvey a run for his money.
Maybe. Well, like the Colton Engelbricht's an interesting one because like some of the guys who are really strong, like Rondell, are going to have a really hard time competing with the fact that a very technical sumo puller like Colton is also going to benefit more from the deadlift bar than he
Oh,
would.
I was saying Kyle Curvey.
I was saying like Colton in particular, right, is one like I would put him right up. Like obviously they're the two best powerlifters in the world as well.
Yep.
On the untested side, but like him and Colton, I'm like I think they hold their spots. Kyle Curvey, yeah, I think you're right. I could see that, right? And then you run into like sometimes you take a guy who should on paper just transition to be this world beater untested, and maybe they don't have the crazy tendon integrity like Luke Richardson, right? Like that was an unknown genetic variable that then fucked him up, right?
I wonder if that would have happened if he was in powerlifting.
I suspect might not have, but whatever, right? Like there's that tendon part. This sounds like weird, edgy, hardcore, but I do think like some people are mentally poised to tolerate the mental side effects for prolonged periods a lot better than others. Where there's this guy, this is a great athlete, he moves well, he's smart, but they just are like so prone to mental issues that them plus big untested guy doses of gear, they're gonna burn out themselves out of the sport, even though they had every other box checked. And like that's why like sometimes you see these like jolly guys disproportionately represented at the top.
Yep.
Is those are the only people that can take these giant mega world record holder cycles and still be like mentally relatively well.
Yeah. Especially for like doing like for 10 years straight, like the idea of like you're not gonna fall apart mentally. And, like we
Speaking
know,
of those guys in the comments, the guys who are like the drug guys in the comments, so funny. All of them are like, dude, it doesn't even affect your brain. And it's like, you act in such a way that disproves that. They're always
I
like,
will say there is that correlation causation, right?
They're, like,
how many of those
violently
guys were
depressed.
that stupid beforehand though?
but they're like violently depressed, and they're like, depression isn't real. Gear doesn't affect your mental. And it's like you are you hate your life. That,
Shout out to Mark Plummer for going on a mental illness isn't real campaign and then having a schizophrenic panic attack at a meet and running away.
Him being like, mental health isn't real. And it's like, dude, I've never seen somebody as visibly on the edge as you right now.
Yeah, you pulled up 2 meets for mental health reasons. What are you talking about?
That guy's...
Just saying like, you pussies, like just tough through it, like on the verge of tears.
That guy is such a goober. He posted that thing of like the Jews are the reason my meet didn't go well, and he got a positive reception. He's like, I guess I just have to be the neo-Nazi guy now. It's like, man, you can watch that guy's brain working.
It's also crazy the degree in which I just like see people on social media like, man, if you're willing just to have no morals, it does just work. Like,
Dude, people's desire for virality is a disease. Like people will go viral for people making fun of them, and they're like, fuck, I guess I got to do it again. Why?
guess I'm the evil mom character on the internet.
I guess I'm now known for giving bad parenting advice. It's like deep baked into a lot of people's like psyche that like there's nothing they want more than virality, even if it's like purely negative.
That is such a weird one that I feel so disconnected from because I'm like, money good, right? Like being greedy makes sense. Like it's better for my life if I had a bunch of cash, right? A bunch of people knowing who I am seems like a net negative. Like, you know, if it gave me a bunch of money, all right, cool, I'll take it. Like, I'll do large lads, which will know who I am, and I'll have a bunch of money. But like, that's the bad side of it is being famous. But like, the number of people that like I know where it's like truly you've had no money, but just like a bunch of people really interested in your life who are like, yeah, that's like my dream. What?
Well, I think part of it, right, is just like the desire to like have people care, right, or like to feel like what you're doing matters, right?
Yeah,
It's just like if you can't create if you can't really like be, I don't know, confident enough in your worldview and your view of what's going on to feel that something matters because you care. Like if that's a good reason for it, it matters because I care, right? If you don't have that, you're like, well, how much something matters is directly measured by how many people care, right? So like my existence matters if I'm a lol cow.
Brutal.
Maybe
Chris,
that's my next arc is I go down the Sam lol cow arc.
I don't know if that would fit you.
I just monetize it real good.
I feel like I'd be a better lol.
I'll be a rich. You think so?
Yeah, definitely.
I'll be a rich lol cow. I'll take it.
I mean, I think if Chris started saying her real opinions, she definitely.
My opinions before I have thought them through that I just.
Yeah, if the Klong files got released.
All right. We should have Kirsten contribute.
I know you were going to ask me for a topic, but I've been really sick all weekend, so I have no topics. My brain is not functioning.
Anything on the internet piss you off?
Let's see. We were talking about like people who are only good at one lift. There's a gal who recently, somebody at the gym who I talk to a lot hates this lady and brings it up all the time. And
Awesome.
It's really funny. But she lost a bunch of weight, and you expect people when they lose a bunch of weight who are good at one lift to stay good at deadlifting. Like you expect that.
So want to be least affected by losing
Right,
weight. Yeah.
exactly. But this lady lost a bunch of weight and still is really good at bench pressing, which I thought was interesting. Clearly like a mega arch type lady, but yeah, I thought that was interesting. She was able to like go down like several weight classes and still be really good at benching. Obviously her squat is worse and her pull is probably not so good. But that does make sense though, right? Why did her pull go down? Her bench was good. I don't know, whatever.
Maybe she was able to arch a little bit more.
Maybe.
As like you can like same thing with like as you get lighter, you're gonna get weaker on the deadlift a little bit.
Yeah.
But you can make up for that with better positions.
Yeah.
If you're like a really really archy bench presser, maybe as you lose weight, because generally
that's true.
mobility increases as you lose weight generally, right? So maybe you like made up for it by cutting an extra half inch.
Yeah, that's true.
And held it like in the same way that people talk about their deadlift managing to hold on pretty well,
Yeah.
right? Deadlift being like a little bit more neural and a little bit more technical.
Yeah. Theoretically, though, as a sumo puller, you should also get more mobile in your lower body and hit better positions.
Potentially, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. She probably just hates. She probably just likes benching and hates deadlifting is the answer. But
Yeah.
that's what I've been mulling over, mostly because my friend at the gym hates that lady and asks me about her posts all the time.
Kirsten, you're not getting on the stretching grind. You know what's crazy to me?
Yeah.
The number of anti-stretching people that clearly aren't mobile enough to hit good positions.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Shut the fuck. How are we gonna be against stretching and then move like shit? Like,
Well, Sam and I talk about this all the time, especially like even in the especially I could argue in the bodybuilding world, like accessing good positions is better for hypertrophy because you can get to a more lengthened or deep position, especially for lower body. So it's like being a mobile bodybuilder guy is like actively hurting your ability to put on more muscle.
yeah.
It's so interesting.
Me and Kurs were talking about it the other day. We noticed like a lot more bodybuilders are starting to treat themselves slightly more as performance athletes. Like, back in the day, you always saw like Dorian Yates, Ronnie Coleman, Tom Platz would have this, like they would stretch out before training, right? And it's again, like trying to preserve or improve mobility. Lets you either get more range of motion for the target muscle, or it lets you position yourself in a way like being able to drive your knee further forward, places more tension on the target muscle. So even if you're not like, if you're kind of an anti-ROM guy, ROM is overemphasized, a mechanical tension first. Okay, well, yeah, if you push your knee further forward, like it's a lever, right?
If that one turns out to be right, I'm so mad.
What?
The ROM doesn't matter at all thing.
No, I don't think people. Okay, the ROM, the just ISOs only.
If that turns out to be true, devastating for me.
I was mad. I was I was sad someone got on us in the comments about that one. But you think ISOs are useless? But you advocate for pauses. I was like, we're talking about this dorks online that do only isometrics. We're not saying ISOs are useless. We do pause reps on stuff all the time. We're just talking about those guys who say only isometric will produce maximal hypertrophy results. What were we just talking about?
Stretching mobility.
Oh, yeah. So, like, it used to be like, they would just stretch out. And I've noticed guys doing more, like, PT routines before their training or doing, like, different, like, maybe little activation drills or working on trying to get their internal rotation back at their hip. I've noticed more bodybuilders doing that where they're, like, treating themselves as a performance athlete to make sure that they improve or at least preserve how well they move. Because you can kind of run, especially for big untested guys, or even natural guys who've been lifting for a long time, if you have losses of functions in areas, that loss of function is inevitably going to translate to it being more difficult to properly train certain parts of your body. So working on restoration and maintenance of good function, right? Like most of the good bodybuilders, actually all of the good bodybuilders I know that are natty move really well because that's going to be part of actually be able to create like a really robust demand for a growth is you need to be able to position yourself and train in such a way because you don't have the auto steroid growth. You need to be able to really properly demand growth from a muscle. So most of them move really well, right? And working towards that or working to maintain that is good.
All right, guys.
Wait,
Well,
I remembered a topic.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so last week I was going to talk about this, about how we were talking about something about like lifestyle
Yep.
last week. But I noticed something, I don't think this applies to the large lads as much, but I noticed a lot in bodybuilding that it's treated as such a lifestyle type of sport of like, to be good at this, you have to live the lifestyle, that training falls to the wayside for so many, especially like low-level amateur bodybuilders, where it's like there's so much. It is true that you like have to have a dialed in. You have to be in a deficit to cut down to be ready for a show. That's true, but it seems like that is almost viewed as more important than the training, and you see like that get people, especially women on the amateur smaller size categories, way worse results than they would have gotten if they had like an equal or even a slightly more focus on their training, or even bothered to learn like how they should be training. It's so interesting. It's so weird to me of like, you see so many people on Instagram where they're like, here's my diet, and then they'll do like a snippet of their training, and it's like there was nothing even close to failure. Like there was no even RPE 7 sets going on in their training, but their diet is like fully locked. It's so interesting.
It is very funny because I think that applies to like dudes too.
Fair.
Like, there's a lot of like intermediate, low-level bodybuilding dudes that I've interacted with at the
Like,
gym.
yeah, I just go get a pump. It's
Well,
like,
well, it's like they have like it's like, why would I have a fucking program, right? And it's so funny because it's like if I told you like, oh, I have no diet program, which is like I used to not have no meal plan.
Right.
They'd be like, oh, that's stupid. That's why you look like that. And it's like, yeah, of course, but also like I think you having like no structure to your training, why do you not apply the same level of like rigor or like structure to the thing that like, you know, is providing the growth stimulus?
Right.
Like the idea of just being like, well, like I just need to put myself in like anabolic state and I'll just go do whatever. And it's like that seems crazy to like not like, it's like I think part of
which
it also,
is, that does get overlooked sometimes, but like for most people, they're not putting enough stimulus to be in an anabolic state. Or I mean, to take advantage of the anabolic state that they're in.
and we talked about a while ago that like the kind of the cool part about bodybuilding is that like you don't need to be on a powerlifting style program. Like
Right.
you don't necessarily need to be on like a true like here's my 8-week block, right? Like as
And
long
you
as
don't necessarily have to be log booking, but I just don't understand how like there's a lot of women who are like, I've been bodybuilding for X number of years. I do the same weight on pull downs
Yeah.
that I've been doing for the last year. It's like, I mean, maybe I'm biased coming from powerlifting, but like the most basic idea of training is progressive overload. You went years without acquiring much progressive overload, and you're like, damn,
or you even like haven't thought about it. Like,
right, and you're like, oh, damn, I didn't grow this season. It's like, yeah, that makes sense.
That definitely seems to be more on the women's side
Yeah.
than the men's side,
Because it
right?
seems like there's a lot more
like
dudes who are like, I love training, and that's why I'm a bodybuilder.
no overlap. I think there'd be no overlap in like the large lads audience, but still like a look into a community is kind of interesting. And I
Yeah.
think part of that is because like, well, who are the people they look up to, right? They're gonna be like this really high level bikini competitor.
Right.
Well, this really high level bikini competitor is taking a bunch of Anavar and already has as much muscle as would be rewarded within the class. So training truly is secondary, right? Like she's not trying to get any bigger. Like all of the bikini girls are just trying to like, oh, trying to gain a little bit of muscle in my glute ham tie, and that's it.
Yeah.
If I get bigger in my upper body, I'm gonna actually actively get down scored, right?
Yeah.
So training truly is secondary
For
to
those high-level bikini
Yeah,
ladies.
because it's like I just have to get lean,
Yeah.
right? It's the same thing with like maybe even like some other divisions. Like a lot of the women they look up to already are big enough, or
Right.
already told they're big enough. Maybe they're trying to gain muscle in one specific area,
Yeah.
and then it's just like the goal is to get really lean.
Well, especially with how many on the women's side are like, back to the coach conversation, who get a coach who's like, to be good at bikini, you have to run a bunch of gear. Whatever. But then they're running a bunch of gear, and then they're doing kind of training, and maybe they do get enough muscle to be a bikini national competitor, right?
Well, I mean, I would toss in, right? Like you guys tell me if I'm wrong, of course. I would say that most of the dudes I know that got into bodybuilding because they wanted to be bigger.
Right.
Most of the women I know that
Yeah.
got into bodybuilding because they wanted to be leaner. And that's kind of being taken to its end conclusion, which is, if leanness is all, it's like the lean and law guys. You don't even have to fucking train. If all you care about is low body fat, you could just restrict your food.
Hey, go for a jog, you know?
Yeah, maybe go for a jog, do some push-ups, and just really, really focus on your diet.
That's
You
a
will.
famous Trend Twins quote.
What is it?
Whatever, something like, if you want to be like shredded and small, you don't even have to go to the gym. Just
Yeah.
do push-ups and eat less.
There you go. You heard it here. Remember, large lads, just do push-ups and eat less.
But yeah.
Good advice for some of the fatties watching.